Super Lucky Disaster Man. Chapter 7, What are you laughing at? We're hijacking. Hearing how Dazai-sama deliberately causes misunderstanding, even Kudo Shinichi couldn't help but look towards Komaeda Naruto, intending to get some information. Senpai. Are you really fine? Even if he is really trying to cause me to misunderstand something, to be able to say these words, Senpai, he must have done something to you, right? Komaeda Naruto helplessly laughed and said, it's just because it suddenly rained and he didn't want to return to Yokohama, so he's staying over at my house for the night. Kudo Shinichi instinctively looked at the hand that Dazai-sama is holding. But this still doesn't explain why you guys are holding hands. Komaeda Naruto thought for a moment. There is a reason for this. You can consider it as an experiment. Don't worry, to Dazai-kun, I don't have anything worth scheming for, right? Kudo Shinichi. Experimenting to see how people on the street react to you? No one cares about this. Although he was cursing in his heart, Kudo Shinichi still gently breathed out because, based on his observation, Komaeda really did not seem to be forced. Judging by their similar ages, maybe they really are friends. Dazai-sama refuted Komaeda Naruto's words, there's a lot worth scheming from you. For example, money. The port Mafia is currently very short on money. Their capital is always tight, and they can only rely on black market activities to barely make ends meet. Once they digest all the benefits picked up in the Dragon Heads conflict, will they truly become the Yokohama underworld ringleader? Although it doesn't look too obvious on the surface, Komaeda Naruto is worth several hundred million yen. He doesn't even need to do anything, constantly buying insurance for himself is the most promising investment. However, there isn't much to take advantage of now, because according to risk assessment, Komaeda Naruto has probably entered countless insurance companies' blacklists. Just like no insurance company is willing to sell to a 90-year-old person with serious disabilities, this is obviously a lost cause. Speaking of this, Dazai-sama asked, when did you buy today's insurance? Komaeda Naruto bought so much insurances that even if Dazai-sama looked at the information, he wouldn't pay special attention to it. In 3rd grade, my mother bought specialized assistance and kidnapping insurance due to the number of missing children incidents at that time. Komaeda Naruto remember back, she bought for 50 years worth. My mother was really looking out for me. There was also lifetime accident risk insurance. When I was young, my mother was worried, so she bought a lot of strange insurances, such as being unmarried and single before 30, alien abduction risk, and disfigurement risk. This insurance company hasn't closed down yet? Kudo Shinichi exclaimed, these items are all so strange. I've only seen alien abduction risk in American newspapers. I thought it was an American specialty. Why does Japan also have it? It feels like an IQ tax. It's the Tei Corporation Insurance Company, so it wouldn't close down. Komaeda Naruto smiled heartily. However, when I handed over the documents today, the person's complexion wasn't very good. Possibly because I've been kidnapped too many times this year. According to the insurance regulations, they must compensate several times that. Kudo Shinichi was convinced. But does this kind of insurance base on the number of times kidnapped? What is the ultimate reason for this insurance? Oh, I get it. The rich specialize in this kind of insurance. Except for the victim's delusional disorder, only rich people worry about being kidnapped all day. Moreover, the number of times kidnapped may really exceed twice a year, so buying this kind of insurance is also profitable. But the insurance company bets on the insured remaining safe or being killed after being kidnapped, so there isn't a second time. To tell the truth, kidnapping for ransom probability is still wildly high. The insurance company is really not stupid. This kind of insurance price will also be higher and might include conditions like needing to report the danger upon receiving the kidnapper's call. Normally, the insurance company definitely earns money out of this. Unfortunately, they met Komaeda-senpai. He felt that the money earned from other customers will ultimately go to cover Komaeda-senpai's claims. According to what he knows, this year Komaeda senpai has been kidnapped 3 times, and the year isn't even halfway over. Speaking of which, you were kidnapped again. This frequency, the insurance company will feel suspicious, right? Komaeda Naruto sighed. Definitely, every time I have to be investigated for half a day to ensure I haven't conspired with the kidnappers. According to the contract, if I did, I must compensate them 10 times and be blacklisted. Any insurance I buy from them will become a waste. Kudo Shinichi. This, Tei Group. They're very methodical. If it were any messy small company, they might use dirty tricks to get rid of this terrifying customer. Dazai-sama pondered. I remember Tei in recent years investigated you, 1 person died, 2 were seriously injured and retired, and that year the insurance department leader was caught for tax evasion. Komaeda Naruto pinched his chin and thought. No impression. I don't pay too much attention to this kind of thing. Generally speaking, my cooperation with Tei Insurance is very happy. Dazai-sama nodded and didn't say anything. Of course, it's happy because if they make you uncomfortable, they will either go to the hospital or the police station. Kudo Shinichi. So, Tei Corporation is indeed not clean. Not unexpected. The 3 of them chatted like that. On the surface, it was not bad, but in reality, Kudo Shinichi's wariness towards Dazai-sama never let up. Like Tei Corporation investigating Komaeda, things that Komaeda senpai himself doesn't know about, this guy knows better than the person involved. Isn't that very strange? Obviously, he investigated Komaeda senpai. Komaeda senpai is also a smart person. It's impossible he doesn't understand what he hears, but looking over, he completely doesn't care. Kudo Shinichi is confused. Is it because Komaeda senpai's personality is actually very strange so he doesn't mind being investigated at all? If it's a mafioso, investigating someone before approaching them might just be a habit, and not necessarily because of malicious intent. Wait. Speaking of which, how did Komaeda senpai get to know Dazai-san? Kudo Shinichi naturally brought up this topic as they were talking. This question was answered by Komaeda Naruto. It was when I was kidnapped in Yokohama on Friday. The kidnappers were dead, Dazai-kun happened to pass by, helped me untie the rope, and also lent me his cell phone to call the police. When Kudo Shinichi first heard about this, he almost thought it is just what good citizens would do. But thinking carefully, it could really be a scheme for Komaeda senpai, wanting to use a friendly attitude to approach him, perhaps it is to take advantage of the kidnappers' plan. This morning my subordinates mistakenly captured Komaeda-kun. I went to rescued, and we met again in the afternoon when I came to Tokyo. What a coincidence, right? Dazai-sama smiled and asked. Kudo Shinichi's heart sank. Is this provocation? How can there be such a coincidence? Thinking of Komaeda's constitutions, Kudo Shinichi isn't too sure. Komaeda Naruto looked at his kohai's changing expression, leaned close to Dazai-sama, and whispered, don't tease him anymore. Seeing his many thinking expressions is very interesting, don't you think so? Dazai-sama lazily smiled and said, dedicated to being a detective, the guy's brain is indeed quite good. Kudo Shinichi squinted his eyes and looked towards them. Hey, I heard that. It is better to play with them if the brains are good, right? What kind of person is Komaeda senpai befriending? How evil. However, he can temporarily rest assured. At least looking at this situation, Komaeda senpai wouldn't have any problems tonight. If there are any problems, he will ask tomorrow. There is a lot of thing that is inconvenienced today with this mafioso here. At this time, the bus came to a stop. Not a moment later, Dazai-sama said, we will get off at this bus stop. Kudo Shinichi was surprised. Ah. This isn't Komaeda senpai's stop, or could it be that he moved? Or maybe switching cars at this bus stop. But wouldn't it be too roundabout? Dazai-sama not only said, but he also directly stood up, pulling Komaeda Naruto's hand right to the back door. Komaeda Naruto obviously didn't know what was going on. He doubtfully followed a few steps. What's wrong? Someone wants to hijack this bus. Dazai-sama boredly said, I'm very tired today. I want to rest early. Just happened to be still within the range to hear their conversation. Kudo Shinichi momentarily paused to understand the logical relationship of this sentence. Someone wants to hijack this bus equals somehow Dazai-sama saw through this equals solving this needs energy and mental strength, but Dazai-sama is tired today equal decisively get off at this stop to avoid trouble altogether. This logic is really mafia to the point that Kudo Shinichi finally understood the meaning of this person's mafioso identity. The fake harmonious and friendly atmosphere that was built from chatting just now instantly vanished. Kudo Shinichi did not say anything. He knew that it would be useless, might as well quickly investigate a bit, finding how Dazai-sama came to this conclusion. It was fine before the bus stopped. That means he must have discovered something just now. The three people who came on are the most suspicious. Driver, open the back door. Dazai-sama was already calling the driver. The people who wanted to get off at this stop have already gone, so the door is already closed. To open again will take time. But at this moment, one of the passengers who just got on was heading towards the back of the bus, because the floor was wet causing them to accidentally slip and fall. It also caused a thing in his jacket's pocket to fall out. In the bus most of the people were closing their eyes to rest. They did not want to open their eyes despite hearing the noise, but Komaeda Naruto and Dazai-sama didn't have that option. Both saw the gun on the ground. The atmosphere suddenly quieted down in a blink of an eye. Dazai-sama wanted to step forward, but the pull on his hand made him suddenly realize that he was still holding Komaeda Naruto. Just that moment of hesitation, the person who was closer to the gun immediately picked the gun back up, pointed towards the driver. Drive. The driver immediately stepped on the accelerator. The hijackers' accomplices stopped pretending, pulled out their gun one after another, pointed at Komaeda Naruto and Dazai-sama. Dazai-sama was dissatisfied and voiced his resentment. We clearly told you to open the door first. Why did you decide to listen to him first instead? Kudo Shinichi almost wanted to shout out, because he has a gun. Is now the time to say this? This kind of situation, Kudo Shinichi could only hope that this mafioso also brought some weapon that could be used for a moment, because he still had not thought of any good strategy that could solve their current problem. Komaeda Naruto also had the same idea as his kohai. Dazai-kun, you carry a gun? No, I don't have the habit of carrying a gun. If there is a request, I'll directly take it from my subordinate. Dazai-sama sighed. The result is still like this. It's not like he's unable to solve these hijackers. He's mainly worried that Komaeda Naruto's luck will make things complicated. There are all kinds of special departments gathered here in Tokyo. The situation is different from Yokohama. It's better if he keep a low profile, so he thought of getting off the bus. The result is he still can't avoid it. But this is also within his expectation. In the shortest time, he should subdue this situation before it becomes more complicated. Dazai-sama looked at the gun's muzzle in front of him, suddenly asked, do you hear a crackling sound? The hijacker who fell down was stunned, hurriedly took off the backpack, pulled out the zipper and saw. Oh no, the bomb's timer has started. The whole bus. The other hijackers immediately got angry. Where is the controller? Here. Ah. Suddenly a sudden break. A car of people all fell left and right. The hijackers immediately watched helplessly as the controller flew out of their hands, then by inertia, fell into the hands of another person. The bus recovered steady control. Komaeda Naruto held the controller that fell from the sky. In the crowd of people watching intently, with an innocent expression he laughed and said, haha, my luck is really not bad. Chapter 7 End. Author's note. Dazai, I knew it would turn out like this. There's no need to do this experiment. It's not an ability at all. Author, Dazai not carrying a gun is canon.